Hello, beautiful souls, and thanks so much for tuning in again. My name is Luca, AM Astar, and welcome to 𝑓. So, I am very excited about this reading because today we are going to be channeling messages from Andromeda. And before I even start this reading, I actually wanted to call this video Memories from Andromeda. But I was told that there are more messages coming through. So I'm very excited to see where this is going. But yeah, for some reason there is a first message about starseeds coming through. So Andromedan starseeds, they tend to be quite rebellious and unconventional. And since I identify with being an Andromedan starseed, today I chose to be unconventional, and so there is only one card to choose today. So it's more gonna be a general reading, and I wanted to see how it is to only do a collective message, because some people have been mentioning in the comments that they would like to have one whole message for the collective. So that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. But yeah, for some reason there is a first message about starseeds coming through. So as I mentioned before, I resonate or I identify with being an Andromedan starseed. And this has a very specific reason. So I personally see star nations similar to zodiac signs. So the message coming through is that we are many different types of starseeds. We are not only Arcturian or Pleiadian or Andromedan, like we have so many different star nations in our DNA. And actually, there is a general misconception that only a few people are starseeds, but that's also wrong, because every single human being on Earth has star-seeded DNA. That means that our DNA comes from the stars. The blueprint of our human vessel is a mix of at least, and I say at least because there are probably much more, of at least 20 different star nations. So even if we don't resonate with being a spiritual person or a starseed or a light worker or anything that has to do with spirituality, even if, then we are still starseeds, because our DNA comes from the stars and it has been seeded on this earth from different star beings. So when I say, for example, that I am an Andromedan starseed, then the energy that I chose to embody in this lifetime has to do with the energy of Andromedan beings. So I know for a fact that I have had lifetimes on Sirius. I can even remember my past lives in Sirius. And I've also heard from many channels and from dreams that I'm remembering that I have been in the Pleiades and in Arcturus and in many places. And so the reason why we say we are one specific kind of starseed is because, it's almost like a zodiac sign. When I say I'm Gemini, then predominantly I'm embodying the energy of Gemini. But I also have the potential for all the other signs. And that's the same with starseeds. So even if we feel predominantly drawn to Pleiadian energy, it does not necessarily mean that we have only had lifetimes there. Like most probably we have had lifetimes in many different star nations. And it's very important to understand the term starseed. And again, every human being is a starseed. And it's very important not to get caught up in the differences, like saying, oh, I'm this type of starseed and you're that type of starseed. Like knowing, it's similar to having a zodiac sign, saying I'm a Gemini or I'm a Leo, but I can be all these other things as well. I have attributes of all the signs, just as much as I can have attributes of all the star nations. So when we say, for example, that Pleiadians, they are known to be unconditionally loving and more this Pisces watery energy. And let's say when we talk about Arcturians, they are known to be more technological or intellectual. Like we can have both We don't have to have only one, because again, most probably we have had lifetimes in both places or more places, and even places that we don't even talk about, because again, there is a big focus on Arcturians, Pleiadians, Orion starseeds, Andromedan starseeds. Like, these are Lyran starseeds. These are the biggest ones that we know of. But there are so many other stars that we never talk about, and stars that we don't even have names for. Like, they have this very weird code name, something, this like a number and a code, and you could even be a starseed from that star. And it's very important to be open-minded when it comes to our starseed origin. This is a very this is the first message coming through. But yeah, I'm also looking at my soul portrait, and the reason why I say I feel most connected to Andromeda is because obviously, in order to enter this galaxy or this universe even, we have to come through a certain stargate. So when my soul entered this universe, it came through the stargate of Andromeda. And you could have come through the stargate of Orion or through the stargate of Pleiades. And this is one reason why you might feel more drawn to the Pleiades or Orion. Because let's say this is one of the first lifetimes, or one of the most prominent or predominant lifetimes in your soul's history. But again, we can be so many other things. So it's very important, the message coming through is not to be limited when we talk about everything starseed related, and knowing that there is probably so much more that we are not even capable of understanding right now. And just knowing that when someone, if you get told that you are an old soul and that you are a spiritual being or something, like, know how ancient you are, how many lifetimes you could have had, not only on Earth but also on other planets, and again probably on planets that you have never even heard before. So it's very, very important to be open to connect to these different kind of energies. Oh, so many messages coming through. I absolutely love it. I hope you can see that this is the theme I'm most passionate about. So I hope I'm not crossing the messages or crossing over words, because I'm super excited to bring these messages through. But again, the reason why I feel drawn, or I feel drawn to the energy of Andromeda, is because it has to do something with my soul's purpose. And my guides actually told me to look at why I chose these specific colors for my soul portrait. Again, this is a soul portrait that I have been creating, and this is very much representing this Andromedan energy. This energy of, the very higher realms. I'm being taken to the 8th, the 9th, and all the way to the 12th dimension. And obviously, these beings in this high dimension, they don't have a physical form. They don't have a shape. Like, it's actually, Andromedan beings are master shapeshifters. So it would be nearly impossible to depict them in a portrait like this. But what I am doing with this soul portrait is basically creating a form for something which lies outside of form. It is, a form to describe that which lies beyond form. And it's more so the energy that is coming through when looking at this soul portrait. And the reason why my guides told me to focus on the colors is because, every star nation is like connected to specific colors. So when we think about the Arcturians, we think about this very dark blue, this indigo blue color, because their soul, like starseed mission, let's say, of Andromeda or of Arcturian beings, has to do with the blue ray, with truth, but also what does blue represent? Like, it's also technology, it's also higher wisdom, higher knowledge. And when we think about Pleiadians, the colors that come through is more pink or light blue, because it's this energy of unconditional love, it's this heart opening Pisces empathy energy. But when we think about Andromeda, the colors that come through is this very high vibrational purple, or this emerald green, like, at least that's from my experience. You can have another perception. But the reason the colors are coming through, like, the colors we are most drawn to, they have something to do with our starseed mission. They have something to do with, what we are basically here to bring, or to teach, or to contribute, or it has to do also with the color of our aura. And I'm being made to feel that this is the color of my aura. It's the purple, which is my favorite color, and also turquoise and green. So the reason why I feel drawn to these colors is also because this has to do something with what I am supposed to be doing. And you see, I'm trying to like bring it all under one table, like the colors of my aura, the colors I feel drawn to, and the star seed energy that I feel most connected to. If we are able to bring all of these together, then we are able to get a deeper understanding of who we are on a soul level. And the way how these colors have to do with my specific soul's path. Purple is about magic, it's about mysticism. Then we have green, which is about the heart opening, but also healing. And then the color white, it's about purity. But in general, it has a very cosmic vibe. But it's also, when we look at this being, it's this gentleness, but there is also a fierceness at the same time. So it's very soft and very pure and very gentle, but also it can go very deep. And I'm being made to feel this has very much to do with Andromedan energy. Like Andromedan beings, they are healers. They are here to bring in higher knowledge, higher wisdom, but still they are very gentle and very playful and very pure in their approach. So they are generally very calm, but they know when to be fierce, and they know when they have to to crawl. How do you say when the cat shows their crawls? They know how to be fierce in moments when they need to be fierce. So if you feel called to Andromedan energy, if you feel that you are an Andromedan starseed, this most definitely has to do with your mission on what you're supposed to be doing, as I already mentioned. And yes, this is a short introduction when it comes to understanding our star origins and getting to know ourselves on a soul level. But now let's dive into the memory bit of Andromeda, because actually I wanted to call this video Memories from Andromeda, because I wanted to talk about what I remember living in Andromeda. But I was also told that there are other messages coming through. That's why I called it Messages from Andromeda. But before I speak about all of this, I'm feeling drawn to pull some cards, and we keep this soul portrait here. So yes, this card, we're basically channeling messages from Andromeda. So anything that has to do with either past lifetimes in Andromeda, or understanding the Andromedan energy, or just in general guidance for Andromedan starseeds. And we have the Rainbow Child. Ooh, love it. Unstoppable, new earth builder, multi-talented, miraculous alchemy. Okay, so strong energy coming through with the 12th dimension. Like the full spectrum of the rainbow, the full spectrum of the dimensions. Because when we talk about Andromeda, most people know Andromeda as being an 8th dimensional or a 9th dimensional consciousness. But actually my guides, or the guides that I'm connecting, like the Andromedan guides that I know, they tell me it's a 12th dimensional consciousness. And this is really the perspective of the entire rainbow of creation, let's say, where every color is one dimension, but actually, we cannot really separate one color from the rainbow. So this whole spectrum of creation, the spectrum of the 12 dimensions of creation, And it's important to know that there are more dimensions, not just 12, but the 12 dimensions, they are creation in the sense of, something that is more tangible. Everything that's beyond the 12 dimensions, we are talking about dimensions of primal sound or primal light or unmanifested light or the potential of light. But the 12 dimensions, they are really manifested. So there is duality. There even is duality in the 12th dimension, by the way. So it's very important to understand that even in these higher realms, there is still, let's say, war, or there is still, duality in that sense. And it's very interesting because I'm really being taken to a memory that I have from Andromeda. And this is actually more so the energy of the 8th dimension, I'm being told. And I had this super crazy vivid dream. And I obviously know it's not a dream, but it was actually my soul reviewing a past lifetime from Andromeda. And the reason why I remember this is because I am meant to give these messages to the collective. Now our soul, reviews past lifetimes in our dream states pretty regularly. But most of the time, this information is so high vibrational and it's not even possible for our brain to comprehend. And that's why it's almost putting a filter on top so that we don't need to process so much information. So actually our soul reviews past lifetimes on a regular basis. But most of the time we are not able to remember these dreams because the information is so high vibrational. But sometimes, on certain occasions, we do remember these past life reviews, just as in my case when I remembered that lifetime in Andromeda. But the reason why I remembered it is because I'm meant to be to be channeling these messages for the collective, basically. Otherwise, if I would remember all of my past lifetimes, this would be too much information to handle. And still, this dream has been very intense and I'm still trying to make sense of parts of it. But coming back to what I wanted to say is that this specific lifetime in Andromeda, in the 8th dimension, I was really being shown beings that look very much like this being. And there were many beings who have very long hair. And the feeling that was coming through was we had to leave a place, almost we had to leave another planet, another star system, because it has been destroyed. So the feeling I had when I was reviewing this lifetime was I was not able to help my people. I was really being left with this deep, deep, deep hurt of not being able to contribute or not being able to save my tribe, because there was something about war going on the planet where we have been coming from. For some reason I'm being made to feel it's connected to Vega, because there is also one planet in this constellation of Vega where the whole planet was destroyed, basically. And there is almost this feeling of having to leave the planet and then going to Andromeda and then being there left with the feeling of not being able to help my tribe. And it's very interesting because one thing that came up in that dream was I saw a sign which said Andromeda tree. And when we talk about Andromeda, we think of the Andromedan galaxy, I think it's Messier 31 or 32. But I've never heard about Andromeda tree. So when I woke up from that dream, I researched it, and I actually found out that Andromeda tree is a dwarf galaxy close to the Andromeda galaxy. So it's very important to understand that when we talk about Andromeda, it's super, super vast. It's not only one galaxy, but it's more galaxies. And it's more so, actually, I'm being told it's more so a realm. So the energy of Andromeda can be very, very vast, but it's more so alluding us to this energy of it being a realm that can exist from the 8th all the way to the 12th dimension. And that's why it's very hard to say what Andromedan energy actually is. And that's actually one of the reasons why Andromedan starseeds, they are very multifaceted, multi-talented, multi-dimensional. There is a lot of different energies that they can embody. And that's why also the energy of the rainbow child is coming through. And oh my goodness, there are so many messages coming through, and it's very it's very hard for me to find the golden thread in it, because there is like boom, 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 and my guides are telling me like, speak about this, speak about that, and I'm like, trying to bring the messages through. So again, we have been talking about Andromeda being a realm. So it's very important to understand that Andromeda is basically like a realm where everything is in constant motion, where everything is very much fluid. And these beings that I have been seeing in this dream, these long-haired beings, and they were actually looking all the same. They were all wearing a suit, and they were shapeshifters. So they had the ability to shapeshift into anything in the entire environment. And they could even shapeshift into weapons, which I found very curious for some reason, because I didn't know that there are even wars in higher dimensions. So it was very weird for me to see that I was literally shapeshifting into something which looked like a weapon or something. But also shapeshifting the whole landscape. So we could shapeshift, basically, there still is duality, there still is a landscape, but everything is not really physical. Everything is, it's almost like it would be constantly shifting, constantly changing. So we can shapeshift into the landscape of the planet, and we can literally dream a shape out of it. Because I saw this vision of a house, and I was designing that house, and it's basically I went into the earth and I dreamed that house into being by shape-shifting myself into the shape of that house. And the reason why this is coming through, it's letting us know how life works in higher dimensions, that there are like not all the rules apply to the higher dimensions. That's why nothing is really crystallized and physical in the higher dimensions. That's why we are able to shapeshift and time travel and communicate with all the beings in the galaxies. Like, we're not really traveling from one star system to another galaxy by physical means, but it's like wormholes. And yeah, the reason why this is coming through, it's almost helping us understand how life works in these dimensions. And also that they have landscapes, that it's not just this liquidy crystalline pool of water. That's more so the energy of the 12th dimension and everything beyond that. But yeah, whenever we think about these higher dimensional beings, they still have a landscape, they still have mountains, they still have houses, they still have interactions. Like, it's not that everything, obviously they are telepathic, obviously they are all connected, it's more so like this collective mind. But yeah, they're telling us that they still have wars, they still have pain, they still have challenges. And that really helps us to understand also our soul's history. Because we might think that we want to go to the higher realms and escape everything that happens here on earth, but again, there is also pain in higher dimensions, there is also these kinds of challenges in higher dimensions. So it's very important for us to get to know our multidimensionality, and knowing that yeah, we can embrace being here, and it's a blessing to be in the third dimension actually. And just because it's a higher vibration, it doesn't mean that all the problems are not there. So when we want to connect back to source, then there is absolute oneness, there is absolute love, there is absolute union. But everything that is not source is still duality. So we still have two kinds of experiences, not only experiences of pure love, but also maybe some more challenging experiences. And I'm being made to feel that this is very important to also bring through. And the last thing before I look into the cards, again, there is so much coming through already. I'm being reminded about a meditation that I did, because as soon as I was told by my guides that I am an Andromedan starseed, and again, if I say Andromedan starseed, it's not only that, but my sole purpose is connected to Andromedan energy. As soon as I found out that, I asked them to please show me how life looks like in their realm. And I was really being taken to this landscape, but it was so vast. So there were still mountains, there were still hills, but everything was moving, everything was in constant motion, but the feeling of being there was a vastness that is not even, like, we're not able to compare this to anything that we have here on Earth. It's just like, it's almost like the one single atom is like spread out in like a millionfold, and it's like a vastness of almost feeling connected to this whole realm, like not being, because energetically we as human beings, we are almost confined or contained within the energetic field of Earth, because Earth is a consciousness. It's like it's like this ball of energy where we are being almost constricted and condensed into this realm, into this sphere of consciousness. But in higher realms there is like less density, and everything is much faster, and everything is, it's almost like when we have a rubber band, for example. In the higher realms the rubber band is very loose, and everything is floating, everything is moving, everything is vast. But in the third dimension, or where we are in, it's almost like we would be stretching that rubber band, and there is like tension, and it's like everything is more dense, and everything is more dual, everything is more polarized. But the higher we rise in vibration, the less tension there is, and the more fluid everything is, and the more everything is moving. But still they have landscapes, and they can have face-to-face interactions, but it's not as confined and as constricted as here on Earth. So what I wanted to say here is that, yes, these beings, when I asked about how Andromedans live their life, basically, they showed me this landscape, which was super vast, super spacious. But when they close their eyes and when they connect within, it's almost like they could travel along the Mandelbrot set. And if you don't know what that is, I'm trying to put an image of that here, so you know what I'm talking about. It's basically traveling along all these fractals, traveling along all these spirals, and basically, being able to experience everything in creation. And this is ultimate freedom. And that's why I felt connected to this 12th dimensional consciousness, because these 12th dimensional Andromedan beings, they have the ultimate freedom of experiencing everything that is in creation. Because again, when their eyes are open, they see this landscape which is very vast and very fluid and in constant change, where they shapeshift things and they create their houses through shapeshifting, where they shapeshift into anything basically. But as soon as they close their eyes, they can travel along these fractals of source, these fractals of consciousness, and that's why they can literally time travel, and that's why they can materialize in any place on Earth, or in any place in the universe, in any dimension, in any galaxy, like literally everywhere in creation, not only in this universe but all the universes, the entire multiverse, the entire omniverse. Well, the entire omniverse within the 12th dimension, like everything that's beyond the 12th dimension, that's like outside of creation. But yeah, these beings, they have the ability to travel and to experience everything within the 12 dimensions. And that's why Andromedan beings, or at least these 12th dimensional Andromedan beings, they have ultimate freedom. They can literally be anything and travel anywhere. And that's why if you feel drawn to being an Andromedan starseed, then you might feel very restricted by the restrictions here on Earth, because Andromedan starseeds, they want to travel, they want to move, because they remember this ultimate freedom of being able to be everywhere in the cosmos of creation. They have the ability to materialize or to travel to all the 12 dimensions. But obviously now coming here on Earth with all these restrictions, like we don't have that freedom. That's why the biggest thing Andromedan starseeds crave is freedom. Freedom from restriction, freedom to travel, freedom of expression, freedom of exploring their like the way they dress, the way they look, experimenting with different hair colors, with different hairstyles, with different everything, like experimenting everything, because it's the remembrance of this shape-shifting energy, of this androgynous energy. Because in these higher realms, like the beings, they are non-gendered. There is no masculine or feminine, like they're all androgynous light beings. And I'm also being made to feel that they all look the same, because it's not so much about the individuality, but it's more so about exploring the vastness of creation. And this is what makes up the uniqueness of a being. It's not the looks, but it's about all the experiences we have gathered. And it's very interesting, because I'm also being reminded of when I asked my star family how Andromedans live in their realm. So they can have face-to-face encounters, but when they see face-to-face, it's not that they are seeing like a figure like this. That's why I had the feeling that all these beings look the same, because there is no individual form. But what makes up their uniqueness or their individuality is their unique vibration. So when these two beings meet face to face, they're not seeing their looks, but it's almost like a song, a sound. It's almost like a bell. I'm hearing this angelic hum, this and the way this sound or this bell vibrates, this is how these beings differentiate between each other. Like this is, so it's not about the looks, it's not about how they look like, but it's about the vibration they emit. And this is how they can know which being they're interacting with. So it's the vibrational pattern of the sound frequency that they are emitting. And funnily enough, it's kind of a contradiction, because here on Earth it's exactly I wouldn't say it's the opposite, but it's actually exploring and experimenting with how we look, with our style, with how we present ourselves physically, because it's almost like we cannot explore the realms of creation as we used to. So in order to balance that out, Andromedan starseeds feel the need to explore in physical terms. And that's why I'm hearing this for the first time, and it's like, it makes so much sense. Wow. So thanks, spirit guides, for bringing this through. But it makes so much sense, since we don't have the freedom to be able to travel to all these dimensions as we used to in the higher realms. In this lifetime, we are called to experiment with art, to experiment with bringing things into the physical, literally bringing this higher dimensional energy and frequency, but grounding it into the earth, and almost being able to have the blueprint of these higher dimensions here on earth. And this is one part of the mission of Andromedan starseeds, is to bring in this freedom while there are these, I wouldn't say constrictions, but it's like there is limitation in this realm. But also knowing that we are not separated from these higher dimensional beings. So that's why when I had this dream where they showed me this past lifetime, or when I asked my guides to show me how life looks like in the higher realms, we're there all the time. We are not separated from that, because again, in higher dimensions, time does not exist and space does not exist. So we are there right now, and we're just having this perspective as a human being in this vessel, because we have chosen to experience this constriction, or it's not but it's like a conditioned thought pattern, a conditioned construct of looking at certain things a certain way. But all these other dimensions and all these other lifetimes, they're still there. And that's why we have the ability to tune into. That's why I knew how life looks like in higher dimensions, because I'm there right now, and I'm connecting with that state of consciousness, and I'm channeling it through. And the same thing with this past lifetime, like it happens right now, this lifetime where I had to leave the planet, where I was not able to save my tribe and I had to go to Andromeda, almost flee. This happens right now. And that's why there is still soul wounds connected to the stories of the stars. So what we are healing and accomplishing in this lifetime has very little to do with this lifetime actually, but it has so much more to do with all these other parts of the rainbow, with all these other dimensions. So it's all interwoven, it all happens simultaneously. So when we are working on doing what we need to do in this lifetime, exploring art, expressing art, exploring the way we look, or bridging spirituality into this realm, no matter what we're doing, we're at the same time doing the work for all these other dimensions and for all these other beings. And there are actually, there are knots. I'm being shown these knots, and in order to open these knots, in order to have a unified whole again, there are almost these, it's so hard to describe this, almost like my 3D version here on Earth is directly connected to that being in the higher realms, and this is this knot I'm talking about, like this is this connection. And when I have done the work here and almost like opened up, or like, let's say if I have completed my mission here, then also this being is liberated. But it's actually this being who seeks liberation, but it happens from this perspective. So we are really being told that everything is mirrored, that there is always a relation between what happens on Earth and what happens in higher dimensions. And that's why our spirit guides, they rely on us. They rely on us, let's say, following our soul's purpose, or like accomplishing our mission, let's say, because there is a direct connection. And then it obviously also makes sense why they are our spirit guides, because it's not just for our own interest or their interest, but it's for the interest of the whole universe. And that's why these beings have a commitment to help us on our journey, because our journeys are interconnected, our journeys are interwoven. There is no separation between our healing and their healing. Our healing is dependent on, like their healing is dependent on our healing, and everything is so multifaceted and multi-layered like a rainbow. But we cannot separate one color from the entire rainbow. We have to look at the rainbow as a whole. We have to understand the interconnectedness and the multidimensionality of our being, basically. And that's exactly one part of Andromedan energy, to help us understand our multidimensional being. And that is my greatest commitment in everything that I'm doing. That's why I'm doing these starseed kind of readings. Like, obviously I could channel information about, I don't know, relationships, or about how to bring in manifestations, and this is beautiful because we're also here on Earth to have that. But I feel the importance of talking about these things, because if no one else does it, then we have to do it. If no one is teaching us how to tap into our multidimensionality, then we have to do it. And that's exactly the reason why so many starseeds are here right now, because we don't learn how to tap into our multidimensionality. We have to learn it ourselves. And once we learn it ourselves, we can help other people to do exactly the same. But what is needed is a being who has had this experience in higher dimensions, because we need to know what we're talking about. And that's why so many enlightened beings and masters are here right now, because it's not only about this aspect, it's about creating new systems that allow us to be abundant and follow our soul. It's about healing relationship dynamics. This is, for example, let's say more Pleiadian energy, when it has to do with relationships and this watery aspect, this emotional healing. Or when we talk about Arcturian energy, it's about bringing in innovations, innovative ideas. And every person, every starseed is like placed on Earth for this specific reason and to do these specific things. And if you're wondering what your story is, what your unique story is, it's really about following these breadcrumbs, about almost weaving this pattern, about creating this web of understanding of who we really are. What a beautiful energy. Like, oh my goodness, I could keep on going for ages. But yeah, let's look at the cards. Let's see what messages there are for us. I'm kind of feeling drawn to use the Oracle deck because this is the most high vibrational deck for sure. So we are channeling messages from Andromeda. Okay. These cards are jumping out. One more. We're channeling messages from Andromeda. Any messages from the realm of Andromeda? Oops. Okay. Ooh, look at this. Are you still recording? Yes. Okay, let's see. We have essences and energies. Ooh. Attune to subtle energies, balance, frequency holders. Yes, that's exactly who we are. Starseeds, no matter what your unique story is, no matter what your unique vision is, we are here to hold that frequency of the higher realms. And that's why there are beings who have had lifetimes in Andromeda, in Arcturus, in Sirius, in Lyra, because we are here to ground that frequency and bring it here on Earth. And it's really about, yes, essences and energies. I'm really being taken again to this shape-shifting energy, these subtle realms where everything is fluid and everything is in motion. And actually knowing that this is actually the truth. And it's actually the truth also for Earth. So we might perceive that this is solid, but actually this is moving, this is breathing, this is alive, it's energy. We might think this is an inanimate object, but it is indeed alive, because everything is breathing, everything is consciousness. And it's almost like these tornadoes of atoms. So yes, basically this stone is made up of different atoms, and they are like these tornadoes of energy. But if I try to drive a car through a tornado, then obviously it is going to smash. So the matter of the tornado, it has no matter, it's just energy, it's just wind, it's just force. But obviously there is resistance, because I cannot move my hand through all these tiny tornadoes, and that's why I feel as if I would be touching it. But actually, if we attune our vibration to the vibration of the tornadoes in this stone, then I would be able to move my hand through it. And Andromedan beings have this knowledge. They know how to shapeshift, they know how to change their vibrational pattern, their vibrational frequency, in order to literally shapeshift into anything. But the message coming through is that we have this ability as well. Here it's just with a delay. It's just maybe harder for us to train ourselves to be able to move through walls, but it is possible. It's not impossible. There are stories about lamas, about brahmis, about the sages in the Himalayas and Tibet that are able to levitate and are able to move through walls. And obviously it's a bit, I'm very skeptical when it comes to these things because I've never experienced it myself, but I know that it's possible. And just because I haven't experienced it yet doesn't mean that it's not possible, because I believe in it. It's good to have a healthy skepticism, but it's also important to know that this is where you come from. And it happens, since it happens in higher dimensions, it happens also here, but it's just in a different way, or there is more resistance or more limitations. But if we're even able to let go of these limitations, then it's possible. And in ancient times, in fact, it has been possible, because the beings who are present in Atlantis, in Lemuria, they have the ability to shape boulders. Like, we just have to look at the boulders of Sacsayhuaman. I'm putting a picture here so you know what I'm talking about. There is absolutely no way human beings could have shaped these boulders with physical means. Like, they're just too big and they fit in perfectly just as a puzzle piece. Like, this is shape-shifting energy, or this is higher vibrational technology. Vibrational technology that allowed these boulders to either change their shape, change their structure, or levitate into place, and there is definitely vibrational technology involved in these things. And we see it even here on Earth. That's why we just have to look at ancient cultures and ancient civilizations, and we see that all the principles that are present in the higher realms, they are also present here on Earth. And with essences and energies, it's about, yes, seeing that we're all of the same essence. Even if there are this color of the rainbow, this dimension, that dimension, they're still part of the whole. Like, just because we are in 3D on this earth doesn't mean that magic does not exist, or that this higher vibrational technology does not exist, because we actually have seen that it has even existed in 3D terms. When we look at all these pyramids and all these giant boulders, like, there is absolutely no way we could have done this with the technology that we have right now or nowadays. This is sophisticated technology, like higher dimensional technology. And that's why it's not even a question that there have been star beings on Earth in ancient times, because time is not linear. There have been far more advanced civilizations on Earth in ancient times. We're remembering that. And we are attuning to these subtle energies. We are knowing, like, we are remembering that we come from the ethers, basically, because that's our essence. And then let's see what else we have. Oh my goodness. Heaven on earth. That's exactly what I was talking about the whole time. It's really about bringing in these higher dimensions here on earth. And it happens by us remembering that we come from the higher realms. Because this in itself is making us into, like, we are frequency holders. So when I remember that I come from Andromeda, from these higher realms, then I'm literally creating a bridge for this consciousness to flow through. And that's why the more people remember, the more we remember about our star origins, about our cosmic origins, the more pillars holding this frequency, the more we can literally ground this energy and bring it here on Earth. And it's already happening. And that's why we will see in the next few years everything that has to do with, let's say, capitalism and 3D ego-based, lower fear-based consciousness, everything that is connected to that level of consciousness, it's simply falling apart, because we are changing the system, but it happens from the inside out. We are not actively fighting the system. We are literally it happens through our remembrance. We activating our DNA, activating our remembrances, remembering our past lifetimes, holding that frequency. And since we are holding that frequency, then our surroundings have to change, because our state of consciousness is no longer able to allow this lower vibration. Like, there is no space for anything that vibrates with fear or separation anymore. And this is the snowball effect that is happening, because the more people remember, like, we cannot stop it. Like, the awakening cannot be stopped. We already have reached that tipping point, or we already have reached the critical mass, and there is literally no going back anymore, because it's almost these lights that are being awakened. And whenever there is this awakening, then a bridge is being established between the higher realms and this realm. And again, we are the creators of this realm. And when we embody this higher consciousness, then we have to change our surroundings. Then the surroundings, they change naturally. And it's happening actually very effortlessly. So we don't have to put in excessive force or excessive... Obviously there is action needed, but it's also co-creating with spirit. It's also allowing this vibration to, attunement. There is this big energy of attunement coming through, allowing Earth to attune to these higher frequencies. And we are the rainbow children. We are the enlightened beings holding that frequency and allowing that energy to ground here on Earth. Oh my goodness, I so love this reading. Oh, I literally could continue for hours. But yeah, let's see what else there is coming through. Whale teaching, depth of experience and healing, teacher and mentor, and share wisdom. This is a card that has been coming up quite a lot in my readings, and I don't want to repeat the things that I have been mentioning in the last readings, so I'm drawing one more card to see what other layer we can get to know about this card, asking for clarification on the whale teaching. What energy are we being shown for the whale teaching? Oh wow, I'm gonna go with this one. Lemurian egg. Oh my goodness. I love the synchronicities in this reading. Absolutely beautiful. And you know what? Let's finish this up and pull another card. Like, let's make this 2 more cards. So we have this whole Tetris situation fulfilled here. Okay, what else do we have? We're channeling messages from Andromeda. Channeling messages from Andromeda. Okay. We have restore, and I love that it's coming in this position. So this is super divinely guided, this reading, that's what I want to say. And one last card. Messages from Andromeda. We are channeling messages from Andromeda. Whew. I'm hearing ear ringing, so there is, yeah, oh my goodness, I absolutely love this energy. It makes me super excited. We have manifest, and it's super beautiful to see that, yeah, they can all have like a different, like a similar flavor. They all talk about the like similar things, and yeah, it's very interesting because all the cards, they have a similar flavor, they have a similar vibe to it, because there is the energy of restore, of rest, reintegration, taking time out, almost, yeah, almost knowing the importance of our spirit guides, knowing the importance of spirit helping us, knowing the contributions from the higher realms. Like, we have so much support with what we are doing. And it's funny because in general here on Earth, most starseeds, or not just starseeds, but most humans, they still operate from this more ego-based consciousness, where we think that we have to be in control, where we think that we have to take all the actions. Obviously we have to take action, because it is through our action that we are creating heaven on earth. Our spirit guides, they cannot act for us, they can inspire us, they can support us, they can give us the information, but we need to take action. But the message coming through here is not forgetting about the help from the higher ethers, from the higher realms, because this is very much with the whale teaching coming through, this divine feminine energy, the energy of being receptive, the energy of literally co-creating with spirit. We have co-creation here in this card, and knowing that we are here to release these last bits and pieces of this ego-based consciousness, where we think we have to do it all on our own, and knowing that, yeah, knowing that the entire universe supports this outcome. And that's why it's so important to have positive expectations about our future, because, and that's why I have positive expectations about the future. If you might wonder why I'm so positive about the future here on earth, it's because I know that the healing of earth, of human beings, and the healing of Mother Gaia, like, so many beings depend on it. And actually this is again the energy of the rainbow child, of multi-dimensionality, that we have so much help from the higher realms, and the outcome is assured already. We are here to experience heaven on earth, and we don't have to do it on our own, because the spirit energies, they are helping us manifest this. All of our star ancestors, they are here to help us, because their healing is dependent on our healing, because everything is interwoven. And that's why the energy of restore and rest and reintegration is coming through. Like, it's very important to know that we need to take action on our purpose, but it's equally as important to also rest and allow ourselves to be nurtured, allow ourselves, yeah, this divine feminine energy wanting to come through, and knowing that we are co-creating with spirit. And it's happening very organically, very naturally. So with the number 8 and 11, there is this energy of we are creating this garden of abundance where we can literally feel as if we would be inside the womb of the mother. This energy of Lemuria, bringing in new Lemuria, bringing in these higher dimensional frequencies here on Earth. And this happens through rest, actually. Because if we try to manifest this reality through pressure and through stressing ourselves, then we are not able to manifest that reality. Because let's be honest, we all want to be happy and abundant and fulfilled and be in love. Every human being wants that inherently. We just think obviously there are people who might think they want money or they want this or they want that, but what we actually want is connection and peace and harmony and joy. And in order for us to create the circumstances to have peace, love, joy and harmony, we have to operate from a place of peace, joy and harmony. So we cannot force ourselves to act. We cannot force things to happen. We cannot move into this lower ego-based consciousness. We have to operate from a higher consciousness, from a heart-based consciousness, where we know that we are co-creating with spirit. Obviously still taking action, but only taking action when it feels in alignment. Only acting out of a place of, yes, now I'm ready, now I'm doing it, and not feeling pressured into acting, not feeling pressured into doing certain things. Because again, we are wanting peace, love and harmony, and we can only manifest that reality by taking peaceful action, actions in harmony with the flow of the cosmos. That's the message with the whale teaching, to attune to the flow of the cosmos, because this is what is bringing heaven on earth. We cannot bring heaven on earth operating from a 3D mindset. We have to operate from a higher dimensional perspective. And as soon as we operate on this higher dimensional perspective, as soon as we hold this frequency, then the change happens from the inside out and our entire outer environment changes. And that's why things are just crumbling apart. Like we don't have to we don't have to use our weapons and like fight the systems and like shout and be violent, and no, everything just vibrationally falls into place. And this is how we manifest. It happens with the co-creation with spirit. And that's why I'm being made to feel right now there is a focus of restore, take time out, nature. It's almost feeling safe in the knowingness that the beings from the higher realms are helping us and supporting us. They're sending us healing energy, they're sending us encouragement, and they're so happy for the work that we are doing, because I'm being taken back to the purple and the green, so it's connected to the soul's purpose, so connected to healing the heart, bringing in higher wisdom, bringing in this purity again. And it's white, but it's a golden white. It's this super high vibrational healing energy wanting to come through, and it can only come through if we allow ourselves to rest, if we allow ourselves to take time out and co-creating but with peace, co-creating but with rest, allowing for rest and reintegration. And for some reason I'm being called to pull some more cards to end this reading. Wow, I absolutely love the energy of this reading, and I hope you can see how passionate I am about it. And oh, it's so, it just gives me so much joy, because we really have so much help, and it's very easy to get caught up into this day-to-day struggles or like looking at things from a fear-based perspective. But there is no reason to be fearful. There is no reason to, it's really, we're allowed to let go of this now. We're allowed to let go of the past, because Earth has already ascended. It's already present in the higher realms. What is happening now is it's slowly trickling into this dimension. Or in other words, we are slowly bringing this Earth to a higher dimension. So it's really this step-by-step process. We're channeling messages from Andromeda. Any messages or guidance from Andromeda? Oof, love this. Okay, so we have the Maid, we have grapes and we have the parrot. And with the grapes coming through, there is strong, strong, strong energy of harvest. Like all the work that we have been doing, and I know it has not been easy. And I know that there still will be challenges, because we're not just there, like there are still things to be transmuted and transformed. But it's reminding us that we're here for the harvest. It's reminding us that we're here to create change by collaborating with spirit and creating new realities. But we are creating the realities that allow ourselves to feel nurtured, with the mate coming through, bringing the water, literally the higher realms, bringing the waters of fulfillment, the waters of joy, of replenishment. We are really replenishing ourselves on a soul level. And with the grapes coming through, I'm always seeing this scene where someone is sitting on a chaise longue and being fed with grapes. Almost like this feeling of we did it, we have made it, like we were able to transmute all this darkness, and now comes the time for harvest. Now comes the time to bring in, to spread our wings, to finally spread our wings, to open our wings and show all of our facets. With this kakadu opening the crown, it's almost our crown is being opened, and we are showing all of our colors, we are showing all of our talents, we are showing the multidimensionality of our soul. And this is ultimate abundance, because again, we are remembering who we are, and we are bridging this beautiful energy here in this realm. And this is the ultimate harvest, the ultimate feeling of contentment and fulfillment and happiness and joy, and literally reconnecting with our star family, with our star ancestors, and bringing in this energy of the Lemurian egg, heaven on earth, where we are, we were never separated from the womb of our mother. We always were connected to our star family. We always were connected to the higher realms. But now we are bringing this awareness down to earth. And we are showing the entirety of who we are. What a beautiful energy. Thank you so much for allowing me to tap into this energy. And I would also like to extend my gratitude for my beautiful Andromedan star family, my Andromedan guides, and all of my guides, all of our spirit guides, all the beings. Like, we really want to thank all the beings in spirit, all our guides, for supporting us so much, because we are literally a family of light. We all are stars. We come from the stars. We are stars. We are light. We are source. And we are bringing this awareness back to earth. And I have to end on that note, otherwise I keep on repeating myself. But oh, what a beautiful energy. So thanks so much for tuning in. And I'm also offering personal readings. So if you feel called to book a personal reading, you can reach out to me on my email address. And I'm sending you all of my blessings, all of my love, all of my support. And I hope to see you in the next reading. Thanks so much for watching.